In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the screen on an iPhone 6. If you want to see any of those other repairs, go ahead and click the links. Here we have the iPhone 6. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Grab my pentalobe screwdriver and take out the two little screws in the bottom. These are the same size screws as all of the other iPhones. And you can grab any tools or replacement parts in the video description below. I'm going to take a suction cup and lift up the screen just a little bit so I can slip a pry tool. You can use a plastic one or a metal one if you want. Just make sure to lift up on the actual metal frame of the screen. Otherwise you might crack it as you pry it up. So be super careful with that. As you lift up the screen, you'll show these 5 screws on the metal plate. Take out those screws, remove the plate, and then unsnap each of these little clasps. The clasps are very similar to Legos. Just kind of take your little pry tool, pop them underneath, and they'll unclasp from the little latch that they're on. Anyway, this is the screen. There's a very good chance that when you buy your replacement screens, you're going to have to move over all the individual parts from one screen to the other. We're going to start with the earpiece. There's 3 screws up at the top. Take out those screws, and then the little bracket comes off. Put that somewhere safe. Make sure you keep all your screws really organized, or you're going to have problems later. Here's the earpiece. Once again, all of the parts and tools for this project can be found in the video description below, so go ahead and check that out. I'm pulling up the front camera and the proximity sensor from the little brackets that they're held in, and then pulling off the last little bit that's taped down by the earpiece. These parts are really inexpensive, at least they have been in the past with the iPhone 5s and 4s. So go ahead and check the video description if you want to check out how much these parts are. There's 3 screws on both sides of the metal plate and then 1 screw down at the bottom. So take those out, and then there's 2 screws that hold the home button in place. Remove that bracket, and then the home button is just lightly taped down. It's just lightly stuck. So peel that up, and there's one little connector right there, just like the little connectors that were holding the screen down, those little Lego pieces. So unpop that. And remember that this is the only home button, the one that comes with your phone, that will work with the fingerprint scanner. Any other aftermarket home buttons that you put on your phone will not work with the fingerprint scanner. They'll just work as a home button. So keep that in mind. Anyway, lift it off the metal plate. You can see the ribbon cable that connects the home button up by the earpiece. And this is the screen. Check the video description below for replacement screens. I'll have them linked down there for you. And there's a good chance you might need to move over the plastic brackets from one screen to the other. So they just pop right out. And then when you put them back in, you don't need to worry about gluing them down or anything, because the actual ribbon cable will hold them in the correct place that they need to be. And you'll see that here in a second. Anyway, I'm going to grab the earpiece ribbon cable and put that back in, lining it up with a little peg up at the top. It's really easy not to mess this up because there's little guiding pegs that the ribbon cables sit on top of. And then each little component has its own little slot up at the top, so you can just kind of see where each little piece goes. The earpiece is going to go down over the top of the camera and the proximity sensor, and then those gold little connection points will fold right over the top of the earpiece, and the camera will go in its slot. Once the camera's in there, you can take your back plate and slide it up over that ribbon cable for the LCD and line it up with the hole, and then you can grab the bracket for the camera and put that over the top as well. Remember that there's those 3 screws that hold that down. And then we can start with the home button. It should still be relatively sticky from before. Either way, just put it down in place over the hole, and then fold over that little Lego piece and snap that in place, just like a Lego. And then you can grab your bracket, screw that in with the 2 screws. And then there's 7 screws around the side of that metal plate, so make sure those are in as well. Now we're going to take the screen and plug each of those little connectors in. There's 4 of them. Just kind of work your way down. You'll feel it seat on top of the little plug, and then you can just press it down the rest of the way. Very similar to Legos. Get all 4 of those in, and then while the screen is still up, you can go ahead and turn your phone on just to make sure that it's working. So make sure that the touch sensitivity is working and the LCD is working, and then turn the phone off before you do anything else. Put the metal bracket back into place. You got those 5 screws, and then you can fold your screen down and punch it into place. So make sure that you start with the top of the screen and slide it up and into a little groove so it's super flush with the edge of the phone. And then you can press the edges in as you go down around towards the charging port. Make sure you put those bottom 2 pentalobe screws in, and there you go. If you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like if this video helped you, and don't forget to subscribe. It does mean a lot to me. And don't forget to check out my Instagram. Thanks a ton for watching.